Well, you got it?
I got
All
it.
right, we're live. Barstool units. I don't know. We're getting up there. Episode 70 something, I'm sure.
78.
78. Wow. 78.
78.
I'm Coach Doug's. With me as always, Frank the Tank Fleming. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I think this guy's looking over my shoulder.
Did you do that, Frank?
No, I didn't. It was in here. I don't
Yeah.
know who drew it, but I'm going to use it.
You're going to use it. There you go, Frank. I mean, you're a utility guy, you know. You use what you got.
Yes, indeed.
So what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. My picks have been kind of lame lately, although I had a better week last week than I had a couple of weeks ago, where I just completely crashed and burned. Last week I crashed and burned in college football. I mean, I'm in a pick slump. All my picks seem to be sucking.
Can you call it a slump if you're pretty much 50-50? Like, what do you, if 50-50 to you, if 50-50 is a slump, like, what is a good better?
Well, I mean, maybe the mean overall is 50-50. But I had a 2 or 3 week stretch where I was going 20%.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you're, Frank, let's say this is the football season, right? You're not going to be 50% every week. See, there's this thing in statistics called the law of averages. Yeah, are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the law of averages in the long run. It's why casinos don't care if you're up big in their casino because they know that most likely you're going to keep playing. And in the long
I
run,
missed
you are
on
going to lose.
the last 2 Sundays. I lost one leg of a pretty nice parlay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, last uh, last week I had a five. I put the units on a parlay. The units
Mm-hmm.
bet
Yeah,
on
I
a
do that. Do
parlay,
that. Do that every week. Do a college football parlay and an NFL parlay. I don't.
and
I
the
don't have
only
to
one I
learn.
missed,
Put them all together.
I missed a push by, of all people, Robbie Gold missing a PAT, and the 49ers trying to be nice and not punch the ball in the end zone when they got the ball at the 8, instead being content to kick a field goal and only win by 6.
Yeah.
You know, it was at that moment I sincerely hoped the Chargers ran up the field and scored a game-winning touchdown with no time on the clock. That would have been above. That would have been what we like to call in New Jersey bavangul.
Yeah. I mean, listen. If you're going to lose, like if you're going to lose the bet, might as well lose the bet. I understand. I had a what was it? I went 4-1 in college. The only one I missed was the Iowa Wisconsin over, and I missed it by 2 points. Now I didn't watch the
I had that
game.
bet too.
I didn't watch the game. I don't know. It might have been a missed field goal. Might have just it's Iowa. Their Iowa's not really scoring a lot of points, but
By the way, have
I
you
think
seen this week's Iowa over under?
I think so. What is it? It's probably high 30s.
No,
No,
no.
I don't think I took it. I have a little foreshadowing. I took Iowa plus 2.5, but I didn't see their I didn't look at their total.
Yeah, it if this doesn't go over, neither team should be declared a winner.
What's so it's Iowa versus who? Not Wisconsin. They played Wisconsin last week.
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Iowa, Minnesota.
I think they're playing for. They play. I think it's a trophy. They play for the Floyd of Rosedale.
Hmm. So what's the over under?
32.5.
32.5. Is that the lowest recorded in a long time. I know they were making a big deal about when was it Iowa Rutgers? They were making a big deal because the over under was like 34, and they were making a big deal about how low that was. So this is how much?
32 and a half.
32 and a half. I mean, that's pretty low.
That is extremely low.
So does that mean are you going to take the over?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. We'll get to that when we get to it. But yes, I mean, other than your picks, though, which, again, just full disclosure, you're like 50-50, so I don't even think that's doing too badly. Your teams are doing pretty well, Frank. Your teams are doing pretty good.
Well, the two teams I care about are doing well.
Yeah. Well, obviously, when I say your teams, I'm not talking about teams that you don't like or that you don't care about. When I say your teams, I'm referring to teams that you cheer for and that you root for.
I mean, the Devils' 10-game winning streak. Outstanding. They're playing outstanding hockey right now.
Can I get a little credit for that? I quit them. I said I wash my hands of them. I said I'm not part of it, but I'm sticking to it, Frank. In the back of my head, I've thought about it. I still have a Devils scarf. I have a New Jersey Devils, T-shirt. Maybe I'll start cheering for the Devils again. If they're good, maybe I don't care what the arena is like and that the people are rude and that the food is garbage. If they're winning on the ice, all of that really becomes all of that becomes irrelevant if they're winning on the ice.
I tell you one thing they've done. They've added tater tots. And the tater tots are pretty good.
I mean, I'm frankly going to be honest with you. If that is what a team needs to do to win you over, then how should I put this? I don't know how to put this. Well, I want to be caught. If getting tater tots on the menu turns you over, like turns you from being upset about a team to, not too upset about a team, good for the teams that you cheer for, if that's all they have to do.
I mean, the food still is subpar. I mean, I got to say this.
They got tater tots.
Well, they made slight improvements. I mean, it's not like the Mets.
I mean, Frank, they made it to the playoffs. Are we talking about the Mets?
I'm talking about the food quality.
Okay, now we're talking. Okay, see, hold on. So you're saying Mets food quality is good?
Yes.
Yes, gotcha. So you're saying the Devils are not like the Mets in the sense that Mets have better food?
Yes.
It's a freezing cold take.
Oh, well, come on. There's no better food item at a ballpark than the Pat LaFrida steak at Citi Field.
Yeah. When I say it's a freezing cold take, I mean everyone would agree with you. It's not a hot take at all.
Well, freezing cold take is something that's wrong.
What's a hot take?
A take that no one would agree with. That's sticking your neck out.
So if a hot take, all right, well, let's talk about this real quick. If a hot take is something that's, controversial and it's not a very popular opinion, then a cold take should be an agreed upon statement. Like everyone would agree with this.
But there's a guy that runs the Twitter handle Freezing Cold Take, and it's people who are wrong.
All right. Well, maybe I'm calling him out. Maybe I think this is a hot take. Maybe I have a hot take in the sense that I think if a hot take is controversial, a cold take should not be controversial.
Maybe it's
that's a hot
common cause. Maybe it's just too common, boring.
I don't know. Hot take that. Anyway,
I think you've set some takes on fire.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm as confused as everyone else is right now. But anyway, so the Mets food is not great. Or the Mets food is great, Devils food's garbage. However, they're winning. They're on a 10-game winning streak.
Yes.
Ever
And
since
let me
ever
tell
since
you,
I announced my fanship,
let me
they've
tell you,
they have
the
ever since
joint
I've
is
announced.
jumping. The
Yeah,
joint is jumping at the Prudential Center.
sold out crowds.
They sold out. They had I'd say they had about 15,000 on Thursday night against the Senators, and then they sold out Saturday against the Arizona Coyotes.
I mean, was there something going on? Why would they sell out versus Arizona?
Well, it
Yeah,
was Veterans
Arizona
Day.
travel well?
It was Veterans Day, so they were giving out hats to the first 9,000 fans.
Well, there you go. I mean, to the first 9,000 fans.
Yeah,
How many people fit in the arena?
just under 17,000.
Okay. All right. So it's pretty much first half people that come in.
Yep. And the joint was jumping.
The joint was jumping, Frank the Tank.
I got my name on the scoreboard for my birthday.
You did, and you didn't have to pay for that either.
Nope, season ticket holder.
Other people pay for that. You didn't pay for that.
Nope, season ticket holder. That's a season ticket holder perk.
One of the many.
And I also got the nice autograph puck from Dawson Mercer and a picture of the banner, the number 30 banner signed by Martin Brodeur.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Mascot
And that was a birthday gift from NJ Devil.
Yep, mascot came to visit me. So things have been good this year for the Devils. Now I disagree with the fans who are chanting "Sorry, Lindy." I'm not there yet.
Okay. So the team is on what, a 10-game win streak? What's their record right now?
13-3-0.
They're 13-3.
Yes.
But you're not there yet.
I give a lot of the credit to Andrew Burnett,
who is not the head coach.
No, he's an assistant coach.
All right, Frank. I mean, it's just, So what is
he was nominated for Coach of the Year last year?
So if you're giving all the credit to the assistant coach, literally there is nothing that Lindy Ruff can do to change your mind. When you say you're not there yet, that would imply that, like, okay, well, there's some things that Lindy can do. But if you're only giving credit to the assistant coach, then if they keep winning, that's just more credit to the assistant coach. At no point this season,
I'm just glad Andrew Burnett is part of the coaching staff.
No credit to Lindy Ruff. None whatsoever. None at all. Zilch. Zero. Nada. Zip.
I don't know what he's. I'll tell you who I give a lot of credit to. Tom Fitzgerald. He signed Vitek Vanacek from the Washington Capitals, and he's been terrific in goal. He missed one game with an injury. Akira Schmid actually got a win. First two career wins of his. One in relief, one in a game. Akira Schmid, who last year looked like he couldn't stop a beach ball, has played better. But I'm going to give it to Tom. I'm going to give a lot of the credit to the turnaround to Tom Fitzgerald. And there was a player on the team last year named Ty Smith. He was a young player, a rookie kind of, who just could not develop. And last year was the worst defensive player in the NHL. I mean, Highway, you could put a cone on the ice, and it would have been played better defense than Ty Smith. He gave the puck over. His plus-minus was awful. He did not play a winning defense. Couldn't take a body. Couldn't do anything. And they traded him to the Penguins for John Marino, who has been, John Marino. He has been one of the best defensemen in the NHL this year, killing penalties. He's got a couple of goals. He's taking the body. He's getting rebounds. And another guy, Pavel Zacha, exciting player, just gave the puck away too many times, and they traded him to the Bruins for Eric Haula. Eric Haula has no goals yet, but you know what? Eric Haula's played well as a defensive forward. He's done well on the penalty kill. He does things that even though he's not lighting up the score sheet, he's doing the little things that help a team win a game. And Marino and Haula and Vanishek have been important additions to the team. Dougie Hamilton, who last year missed a good 3 months with a broken jaw, he's playing well. You got Pavel Zacha. He's playing amazing right now. Jack Hughes, who really wasn't off to a fast start, now he's starting to rack up the points. And it's just all snowballing and clicking right now. They're a fast team, they're a young team, they're an exciting team.
Which is probably the best. It doesn't appear to be a one-off situation where, hey, we got some good players, all together in the right season. If they're playing this well together and a lot of them are young, there's a little bit of hope that it'll continue for multiple seasons.
I mean, really, like 80% of the Devils' roster is under 25.
Yeah,
including Mackenzie Blackwood, who's injured 3 to 6 weeks. And the big thing is the guy that was supposed to be the big offseason addition, he's out. He's not gonna play until probably Christmas. And I'm talking about Andre Palat, who's an experienced winner from the Lightning. I mean, they're good. When he played, he was playing well. But he had to have surgery on the groin. So they're hoping he can come back around Christmas, maybe the New Year. And they just couldn't be playing any better. And they're playing an exciting brand, just like fast-paced hockey. And
how are the power plays?
Really helped turn it around.
How are the power plays?
What?
How are the power plays?
It's a even from the first 4 games of the season, it's a tremendous improvement.
Because they gave up a lot of goals on power plays last year.
Penalty kill could be a little bit better, but you know what? It's not one of the worst, but it's not one of the best. John Marino is, as I said, John Marino and Eric Haula have been very helpful in killing penalties. And their power play is a little bit better. They had a couple of games, like a stretch where they had 4 straight games of power play goal. I mean, I don't think they had 4 power play goals in any one month last year.
So the Devils are up. No thanks to Lindy Ruff. He can still suck it. But the Devils are up. 10-game win streak. They're 13-3, you said?
13-3.
13-3. That's a good record. It's a good record. How are we don't talk about the Nets. This isn't a Nets podcast. Is Kyrie still suspended?
As of recording, yes. But there's talk that he could probably be activated for Sunday's game.
Now, have they said why? Is there a time limit or a number of games he can be suspended without there being any further issue? I mean, he hasn't. Whatever they've suspended him for, he hasn't corrected or tried to correct.
He's checked a few of the boxes. The Nets are just such a dumpster fire right now. Joe Tsai, he's now taking heat, saying that now you got 2 camps, and that's what's happened now. You've had 2 camps. You have Kyrie's an asshole. He's an anti-Semite. Punish him. And then you got the other camp saying, okay, what Joe Tsai's doing is making him apologize for being himself. So now you got people sticking up for Kyrie. You got the pro-Kyrie crowd, and not people who necessarily agree with his, let's say, out there takes, but they're saying that the hoops that he's having to jump through are ridiculous, and that there should be a set time to his suspension. Meanwhile, the Nets try to hire Udoka away from the Celtics, but then they basically went up to Josiah and said, look, this guy did some things that are questionable. I mean, you just suspended Kyrie, and you're going to hire a suspended coach, it doesn't
Yeah.
look good. The optics aren't bad. So they're stuck with Jacques Vaughn. And initially they were playing well with Jacques Vaughn, but the last few days have been disastrous. They allowed 153 points Tuesday night to the Kings.
That should, I mean, to the Kings makes it so much worse. But still, 153 points, like in a non-All-Star game, like how is that even possible? Is
What
that
was great is
zero
what was great
defense?
was that the Kings all got off to a fast start. They built a 14-point lead in the second period, the second quarter. And the Nets went on a nice run, tied the game, or like in the second quarter. And then to end the first half, the Kings went on a 31-4 run over the last 4
I mean,
minutes.
were the Kings on fire, or were the Nets just not playing any defense?
Both.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ben Simmons had no shots, no rebounds, and 11 turnovers.
Is that a Frank fact?
It was something like that.
Possibly.
Ben Simmons is a broken man. They throw the ball to him. He wants to get rid of the ball. So he doesn't know where he's even throwing it.
Yeah.
He's afraid to even have the ball in his hand at this point. Players are talking behind his back, saying that this guy's not doesn't want to play, doesn't have any heart. Kevin Durant is wistfully looking at Stephen Curry like this as he sleeps at night, wishing he was still a Golden State Warrior. I mean, it is a dumpster fire. The Brooklyn Nets are an absolute dumpster fire. Their owner now is getting dragged into this because of his connections to let's say the Chinese communist, who he does a lot of business work with his running of Alibaba.
Mm-hmm.
It is a shameful organization. 10 years ago, they moved from New Jersey to New York to Brooklyn.
Yeah,
and they hoped to wrestle Brooklyn away from the Knicks. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't ever gonna happen.
So it was a stupid move to begin with.
It was a stupid move.
Not just in hindsight. They should have known. They knew beforehand it wasn't going to happen.
And everything they have done over the last 10 years has blown up in their face in epic proportions. They are right now. They are on most nights getting less than 50% at the Barclays Center. They're on the West Coast trip right now, but nobody's going to the games. Nobody's going to the games. They're high ticket prices too. Nobody is going to the games.
How does that? I'm not familiar with Brooklyn as far as their sports teams and attendance rates. I see New York as the same way I would see Los Angeles, where if the team is not doing well, the fans aren't going to show up. If the team is playing well, they'll show up.
Well, there's one team, it doesn't matter how bad they are, how good they are. They're going to sell out every game, every year.
The New York Knicks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Knicks are a garbage team.
Yeah, but
mediocre. When they're good, they're mediocre. When they're bad, they're bottom of the barrel. They haven't gotten a star into the Knicks uniform. I mean, Carmelo Anthony was sort of a star.
Yeah.
But they haven't had one of the top 5 players in the NBA since Patrick Ewing retired. And the gap between Knicks fans and Nets fans has never been larger.
Yeah. So do you see the Brooklyn Nets moving back to Jersey in 10 years?
I doubt it.
They have the Barclays Center. Brooklyn is an internationally recognizable jersey, and so they're just going to stay in Brooklyn forever, no matter how garbage they are.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's just they're now really just a garbage team, a garbage dump, a garbage scow. That really, the best thing that could happen to the Nets is
New
to be
owner.
disbanded and to restart with new ownership, a new approach, new ideals, new everything,
Yeah.
starting from scratch. Because this whole organization and the fact that Sean Marks still has his job after this is bewildering. They have done everything possible to fuck this up. They had 3 NBA stars and they only played 17 games together because it was just so entirely fucked up and dysfunctional. Because Kevin Durant is the only one that goes out there and gives his all every game. If he's not hurt, he's going to give it his all. Kyrie Irving just cares about Kyrie Irving. James Harden, I don't think he's the star anymore, but James Harden just wants to be like carried, and he didn't want to do the work. And then you just had you add to all this, you put in a inexperienced coach who was way over his head, and you expected it to work.
Doesn't make sense.
No, and it's why I watch Nets games and it's almost like I feel nothing.
Yeah.
I don't feel
I,
anger.
I
I don't feel
listen.
joy.
The
I feel
Jaguars.
nothing.
I had the Jaguars. What? Probably about 15 years. There was a wild card season here or there, but I mean, pretty much for 15 years, we were looking at 3-4 wins a season. You just can't you can't after so many seasons of only winning a handful or less of games, a handful or fewer games. It's you just I don't even know if I don't know what the right word is. You just become numb to it all. So I'm sure so I
Yeah,
understand that.
it's worse than the losing. It's just the drama.
Yeah, I guess
It's that
I mean,
you
the
just
drama is
have
persona.
players that just that basically just can't help themselves.
Yeah, and I mean when there's only five main starters or fewer, it's a big difference than having 53 guys on an
And
NFL
Ben
roster.
Simmons is broken. I don't know if he'll ever be fixed. He was number one pick at one time. He was like, this guy looked like he was going to be all world defensive player. His offense never was really that good, but he got blamed for so much and booed so much in Philadelphia. He is broken.
Yeah, Philadelphia broke them. The
And
Philadelphia are responsible for what Simmons is today.
and the Nets just can't put them together.
I don't think anybody can. Philadelphia broke him.
You know what would put them together? Going someplace where no matter what he does, he'll get cheered.
Where would that be? Sacramento?
Yeah, Sacramento. Maybe Utah.
Toronto, maybe. They're not.
Yeah,
They're not. They
maybe.
don't. They don't really. Even if players ball, they don't. Those nice Canadians.
Orlando.
Yeah, I think Orlando would just be indifferent. But we're not a Nets
Maybe.
podcast. We don't talk about the Nets. Nobody here likes the Nets. We don't talk about them. The Dolphins looking pretty good.
Dolphins looking good. Bye week. Be nice to see some of their players get hurt. They lost Agba for the season on the defensive line. That doesn't help, but hopefully they could get some. A week off will help Xavier Howard. His groin has been tender most of the season. Byron Jones, hopefully Hopefully, at some point, he'll be activated. I mean, he's been on the pup all year. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries to the secondary, and they have a game next week against the Texans after Thanksgiving, and then their schedule gets very tough in December. They have 3 straight road games in December. They have to go San Francisco, LA Chargers, and then Buffalo.
Are you doing anything?
No, just talking to Frank here. Did you want to record something?
No, I'm just giving a tour.
Okay.
of Man Wardlow.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's like green screen.
They're Brandon Walker's doing a little tour to probably a wrestler.
This is Barstool advisors in here.
But 7-3 in first place. Got into first place on my birthday. That was very nice to see.
Yeah.
And they're off this week. They have the bye week. Interesting enough, all 3 Florida teams are off this week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's weird.
Why?
I mean, wouldn't you stagger them? Have the Dolphins off 1 week, have the Jaguars off 1 week, have the Buccaneers off 1 week?
Why would you need to stagger them?
If you're a Florida football fan, I know you wouldn't necessarily be a fan of all 3, but if you want to go to a football game in Florida.
What are we talking about here? If you're a Florida football fan, not the University of Florida, just a general fan of football teams in the state of Florida, that's your concern is that they should stagger the bye weeks of the Dolphins, Buccaneers, and Jaguars.
I've never seen the Jets and Giants off the same week.
So that if you're a Florida fan, a Florida football fan, you can still, you have something to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you may not even have a team. You might just live in Florida.
That is a hot take. That is a hot take. The idea that there is an individual in Florida right now the idea that there is someone in Florida right now thinking, oh no, what am I going to watch this Sunday? None of my 3 professional Florida teams are playing.
I mean,
what are we talking about here, Frank?
Ron DeSantis, he might want to go see a football game this week.
I don't know how to proceed with that. So we'll. Are you sick? You sound sick. Yesterday on the train and the Uber, you sounded very sick. Are you sick, Frank?
I got a little bit of a cold.
A little bit of a cold?
Yes.
That's like saying I'm a little pregnant. Like either you have a cold or you don't. Okay, so you're sick.
It's annoying.
You're sick.
I feel better than I did yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday did not sound good, and you were getting looks too on the train.
That was Thursday. That was Tuesday.
Yes, that was Tuesday.
Well, I did take a test, so
you what?
I was negative. I did take a COVID test. I was negative.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I didn't know you believed in that kind of stuff.
One can't be too. You've got to be. You got to be careful. You got to make sure.
All right. I didn't think you were the kind of person that did that kind of thing. Next thing you know, you'll be outside Barclays Center singing "Mask the Children."
I didn't go to the doctor to get a COVID test. They now have the COVID test at home.
Mask the world, mask the children.
They have the COVID test. They have the over-the-counter COVID test that you can buy and take it home, like the pregnancy test. You stick your thing up your nose and you put it in there, and 15 minutes later, it'll tell you if you're pregnant.
I don't think that's how a pregnancy test works, Frank.
What?
I don't think that's how a pregnancy test works.
But COVID tests work that way.
Yeah. What was that song they were singing? Were they like outside town hall or outside the Barclays Center last year?
Just just because you're tired doesn't mean it's over. Mask for life, mask your wife, mask your children, mask your parents, mask everyone, mask for a knife. We don't care if you don't like it or not. Mask forever, mask forever.
Yeah, those are crazy people, Frank. I didn't think you were.
Yes,
I
they
didn't
are.
think you were in that group. I didn't think you were in that group.
Well, I just wanted to make sure before I came back to work today.
And everyone here appreciates that. So your teams are doing well. You don't have COVID. Frank, things are looking up.
Yeah, but the Mets are Billy and Nepper is just completely asleep. I heard that he's
No. They made the playoffs. The season is over. This is the off season. This is not a Mets off season podcast.
so you're turning off the stove.
Frank, I never turned the stove on. Somebody
Yeah,
else
but,
turned
you know,
somebody else turned the stove on. And then they left the house. They turned on the stove, left the house. It's been running ever since. There's a big gas leak, and I'm the fire department. I'm coming in, cut it off. So your picks.
Next week's Thanksgiving, I'm going to make another turkey this year.
Good luck with that.
You doing anything special for Thanksgiving?
We'll see. We'll see. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna go home yet. I just picture you stuffing a turkey full of bouillon cubes. That's all I imagine.
I don't put bouillon cubes in my stuffing.
No, no. But I picture you doing it. I picture you putting the turkey with the hole up, and then you just like salt bang bouillon cubes into the turkey. That's how.
What I do is I take a chunk of butter, put it in my hand around the stuffing, and for each clump of stuffing I put in the bird, I put a clump of butter, and it's the greatest stuffing in the world.
Are you telling me you take a handful of butter and stuffing and ram your fist into a turkey?
Yeah, this is how my mother cooks it.
Frank, this podcast isn't sponsored, but if it was, it would need to be sponsored by BetterHelp. You got to talk to somebody about this. And I personally, this is me getting a little personal here. I have enough problems of my own. I can't help you. I can barely help myself, Frank. I cannot help you with this.
That's how my mother cooked a turkey.
You got to talk to a professional about this stuff.
I might even decide I might try to live stream it while I cook it.
That would actually be very entertaining. I won't eat it, but I will help you recording or whatever, because the people have to see this. It's a train wreck, but like
if you're here, I'll have you record it.
Yeah. So your picks, again, you're like 50-50. We're both 50-50 because that's what it's always going to be unless you go on some crazy run one way or another. I believe I'm in the lead now.
Yeah, you're in the lead by a half.
By a half game. You have one more loss, and I have a tie.
Yep.
Yeah. So the tides may be turning. We could be going into a Doug's winning spree here. We'll see. But, it's literally neck and neck.
Yes, it is. And that's surviving that 0-5 pick I had a couple weeks ago.
Well, and again, Frank, that's the thing. You have 0-5 one week, and then you go 4-1 multiple other weeks. It all works out.
Yeah.
You ready?
All right, you ready for my college picks?
I'll let you go first again every week. Let's start with the college picks. Who you got?
Notre Dame is pissing me off.
Uh-oh. Now they are?
It seems like whatever I do, Notre Dame does the opposite. If I pick them to not cover, they cover. If I pick them to lose, they win. If I pick them to cover, they lose or they don't cover. Like last week, they paid tribute to the men and women of the Navy by basically not scoring in the second half.
Mm-hmm. So what are you
And
going to do?
Navy only lost by 3 points.
What are you going to do? You're going to stick through
Hope that
it?
they don't have the same feelings for Boston College. It's senior day, last game in South Bend this year. Boston College stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame's a 21-point favorite. Number makes me nervous, but I just think Boston College is so bad that Notre Dame's still going to find a way to win by 24.
All right. I like that.
Boston College stinks.
Isn't that what you said about all the other teams? So you still have faith in Notre Dame. I like it.
Speaking of teams that stink, Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad they're not called New Jersey State or New Jersey University. I'm glad they just go by Rutgers because they are an embarrassment to the state. And they think that they have a rivalry with Penn State. They think that they have a rivalry with Penn State. They want to have a rivalry with Penn State. Penn State looks at them and go, "You suck. We're just going to kick your ass." I'm going to take Penn State minus 19 to just once again embarrass Rutgers. Rutgers just is literally the doormat of the Big Ten, and every other team just wipes their cleats with them.
Yeah. You don't think 19 points is a lot? You don't think Penn State?
A lot, but Rutgers can't score, and Penn State's just going to light up the scoreboard.
All right. I like that pick. It's a good pick, Frank.
Bedlam might be coming to an end, with Oklahoma set to join the SEC as rivalries die with this just megalopolis conference shit. The Sooners suck this year. The Sooners suck. And let me see. Did I write this right? Hold on a second. I just got to check out one thing real fast. The Sooners suck this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even understand how they because I think I want to make sure I didn't write the score down wrong. Sorry about this. Yes. The Sooners suck, and yet they're a 7.5-point favorite against Oklahoma State. It was actually 7-point favorite over Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State is not only going to cover, they're going to beat Oklahoma.
Really?
So I'm taking Oklahoma State and 7 points against a terrible Oklahoma team.
All right. I don't know if I'm on your side with that one, but let's go with it.
I hate picking this next team. I hate them. I really do hate them. And I might have to pick them again next week because they're having a good season. And they have a chance to sneak into the college football playoff. And I'm talking about USC. They're playing UCLA, who last week turned into a pumpkin against Arizona. USC is a 2.5-point favorite. They're just going to toy with the Bruins. I see USC winning this game big as they try to climb the rankings. And we teased it earlier. I'm going the over. Minnesota, Iowa, 32.5.
So you are going over.
That is such a ridiculous over-under. I mean, it's just sitting out there. I can't see how these two teams can't accidentally score 33 points.
With the total being so low, if it comes under, was it 33.5, 34?
Yeah, 32.5.
32.5. So if only 32 points are scored, are you upset about that? Is this a play where you have to take the over and no matter what happens, you just have to deal with the consequences?
I think it is.
Or is it a matter of, listen, that under is so low, you almost have to appreciate it and take the under?
I mean,
Are you going to be happy if the under hits?
I'll just laugh at Iowa. I think that's the only thing you can do.
You would be less upset if the under hits while betting the over than you would be betting the over on the under hits.
Yes.
Fair enough. All right.
Besides which, they're playing for the Floyd of Rosedale. The Floyd of Rosedale. Don't you think that they're going to score some points for Floyd?
I don't know.
Have you ever seen the Floyd of Rosedale?
Frank, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what you're saying. Generally, we don't get this too deep into a conversation about something. Usually I just say, yeah or no, but this is being recorded. And so for posterity's sake, I feel like I have to let you know, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, you do know that some of these college rivalries have trophies that goes back and forth.
I didn't know that. There's rivalries in college football?
Yeah.
Huh. Tell me more.
They have trophies that go back and forth. Well, there's an iron pig, a brass pig that is named Floyd, and they call it the Floyd of Rosedale, which is the trophy that goes to the winner every year of the Minnesota-Iowa game.
Gotcha. Are there other rivalries outside of those two teams?
Oh, there's plenty. There's the old, the Paul Bunyan Axe. A lot of them in the Big Ten. They actually played for a shillelagh when Notre Dame and USC play.
Interesting.
They're gonna score for Floyd.
We'll see. Well, I'll go ahead. We're running a little behind here. I appreciate the information, but I'll run through my picks here. We've got FSU. FSU is huge favorites this week. FSU minus 24. Actually, can I take FSU this week?
Who are they playing?
They might be playing an FCS team. Or they're just so small I think they're FCS. Wait, let me FSU schedule. Louisiana.
No, they are FCS. They are
Cajuns.
No, they are. They're in the Sun Belt Conference.
Yeah, they're good. Well, I don't know if they're good, but yeah. So they're playing the Raging Cajuns. Minus 24. Listen, we put up 44 on Miami, no problem. I don't think the Raging
in the Miami
Cajuns,
drizzle.
Yeah, I truthfully, fair enough. Hand up. I haven't watched the Raging Cajuns at all this season, but I'm going FSU minus 24. We got two big favorites here. I'm going Michigan minus 18. I don't see them stopping. I don't see themselves stopping. I don't see them stopping themselves from scoring. Michigan minus 18.
They might have to play Illinois again in 2 weeks.
I'm not going to address it, Frank. I'm not going to address it. People literally just keep opening the door. But they're not closing it though. They just every time they open it more and more. They're not closing it though. We live in a society and just nobody. Anyway, so can you hear them?
People were raised in barns. Did you know that?
Yeah. So we got two major favorites. I'm going to go major underdog here. UMass plus 33.5. UMass plus 33.5.
Who's UMass playing?
Let me see here. Somebody that should probably kick them. Football. Look it up.
I just looked it up. Texas A&M.
That's right. Texas A&M. That's right. Going up against Jimbo. And listen, they'll probably win. I don't see UMass winning this game. Texas A&M will win, but 33.5 points.
You know what's great about Jimbo Fisher? He can do anything right now. He could go 0-12 5 years in a row. He'll just go, pay me $86 million and you can fire me.
Yeah, well, frankly, that's been the case the whole time. He could have literally on day one, they could have fired him day one, and he would have still been making all that money.
They're not going to a bowl game this year.
Taking UMass plus 33.5. Next, I'm going Iowa plus 2.5. Iowa plus 2.5. And for my over, I'm taking Georgia, Kentucky over 49. Georgia might have to score a lot of points to make sure that over hits. But I could see Kentucky, getting some garbage time points. So, I don't know. Georgia might score all the points. I don't know. But over 49, I think that'll hit. No problem. So those are my college picks. Let's go to NFL now. What are your NFL picks for this week? No Miami.
With no Florida teams playing this week, I had a tough time fighting 5 games.
Why?
I'm cycling back to an old joke. It's
okay.
called a callback.
It's
I'm going dog. I'm picking some dogs this week.
All right.
I don't know what the Saints are doing. Apparently, Jameis Winston's time in New Orleans is true. Yes, he's got to be somewhat healthy right now. But they're sticking with Andy Dalton, who is Andy Dalton. He just will always suck, always has sucked. Rams, they have some injury issues. I don't know if Matthew Stafford's going to play, but Aaron Donald's going to play. And I like the Rams getting 3.5 points.
That's fair.
My next one is the Commanders. Bravo. You beat the Eagles. No teams are undefeated again. The 72 Dolphins can celebrate. They can cheer. They can rejoice. Another great champagne toast.
I don't think it means anything anymore, Frank.
Larry Zonka tweeted out a picture of him of himself celebrating with the champagne.
I mean, listen, he can celebrate. I'm not telling anybody they can't celebrate. But the whole perfect season and perfect town population one all whatever it is.
Perfectville.
Again, I
said
that
because the bumper sticker is on my car.
Again, I said whatever it is. So I was being inclusive to whatever it was. As soon as they added more games to the season, as soon as they started adding wild cards to the playoffs, it's not the same thing. Like, listen, you can have that in your history. You can say we had a perfect season, but to always celebrate because another team didn't have a perfect season, there's no correlation there. There's no connection whatsoever. You had a perfect season.
I wish Mercury Morris
back when they were you had a perfect season. You had a perfect season when they played 8 games in the season and people wore leather helmets and coaches wore suits on the sidelines. You had that. I'm not taking that away from you at all. You had that. Congratulations.
Just one has done it.
But that has no impact or any bearing on whether or not a team in today's NFL has an undefeated season.
Well, bravo.
It's like saying that the who was the last team to go undefeated in college? Was it Clemson? Undefeated and won the championship. Let's say 2013. Let's say 2013 FSU Seminoles. It would be like saying the 2013 Florida State Seminoles going undefeated and winning the national title is the same exact as Rutgers winning one football game in 1742. That's what you're doing when you compare the 1972 Dolphins to any team that plays in the NFL today.
Only one team has done it. One.
Only one team did it that season. That was one season. You cannot compare that season to how the NFL is played now.
Perfectville, population 1.
It should say Perfectville 1972, population 1.
Anyway,
and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I said I'll leave it. I said I'll leave it at that before you said anyway. So I finished the conversation.
Anyway, I sense a letdown this week for the Commanders. Texans plus 3.5.
Okay, fair enough.
And the Minnesota Vikings might be the Ronnie Dangerfields of the NFL. They just keep going out there and winning every week. They're underdogs at home against the Cowboys. I am taking the Vikings plus 1.5.
Nice.
And down Mexico way, I think the 49ers are just going to stomp all over the Cardinals on Monday night, -8, 49ers.
Nice.
And for my over-under, I had a tough time picking one, but I just see the Ravens just exploding. And 41.5 with the Panthers. I see that over-under being a pretty easy over-under yet.
Nice. All right. Well, I had Minnesota, but I scratched them out. I think that's a good pick. Minnesota plus 1.5 versus Dallas. I just couldn't. I think they're going to win. So obviously they'll cover on that. But I scratched it out. I don't think we're taking any of the same picks in the NFL this week. So that's good. I'll start off here. I'm taking Chicago plus 3.5 versus Atlanta. I mean, the way Justin Fields has been playing, I don't see how they're underdogs against Atlanta. But I'm taking Chicago plus 3.5 against Atlanta. Eagles going up against Indianapolis. They're only favored by 6.5. That's crazy. So the Eagles win by a touchdown and that covers? Easy. I'll tell you Eagles minus 6.5 versus Indy. This is where I had Minnesota plus 1.5 against Dallas. I'm taking Cincinnati minus 4 against Pittsburgh. Cincinnati minus 4. I think Cincinnati wins that easily. Next up, Kansas City is only favored by 5.5 against the Chargers. Kansas City, only 5.5 against the Chargers. I think they could easily win that by a touchdown or more. Oh, hey there. How's it going? Good. You want to be on the show? No.
Oh, are you in the middle of the show?
No, it's just Frank. It's just Frank's. Brandon walked in earlier. It's people walking in and out. It's like there's.
We had the door open.
Well, you opened the door, but you didn't close it.
Oh, I did? Okay, here, I'll close it up. Bye.
Where was I?
Kansas City minus 5.5.
Kansas City minus 5.5 against LA. Listen, I mean, Herbert has not been good this season. He might be playing with an injury. He hasn't looked good at all. And I think Kansas City easily wins that by 5.5 easily. And then for my over, taking Cleveland, Buffalo over 42.5. I mean, Buffalo? You're telling me Buffalo can't score 42.5 points? And Cleveland's looked really good, even going up against good defenses. So, 42.5, there's no reason There's no reason whatsoever I wouldn't take that.
Have you heard the forecast?
What are you talking about?
The weather forecast in Buffalo.
Weather isn't real. Global warming, Frank. It's going to be hot and sunny.
They're talking actually of moving the game.
Well, then if they do move the game, I feel even more confident about my over
Oh, yeah, if
42
they
and a
move
half.
the game, that over will definitely hit.
I'm thinking long term, Frank. Long term.
But yeah, they said they're going to get like the thunderstow blizzard of the ages out there in Buffalo.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
You know,
All right. So
I
those are
hope it
my
does snow, and I hope they don't move the game, because if they do, then that would prove that Roger Goodell fucking sucks. You know, snow games are fun. Everyone loves snow games, but no, he wants everything in a bubble. You fucking suck, Roger Goodell.
I'm not sure how we got to this point, but I'm not going to argue with you. That's Barstool Units. See you next time. Oh, click like and subscribe.